Hey, what's going on, everybody? Listen, don't look now, but the Chicago Cubs just might have a secret weapon for this season. Let's talk about it right after this. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Appreciate each and every last one of you guys that have tuned into the episode. Appreciate each and every last one of you guys that follow us, whether you're on social media. You can find us at Cubs Central Pod on Instagram as well as on X. You can also search us for our Facebook group, Cubs Central Podcast Group. Join that Facebook group. The episodes get shipped there first. They get first dibs on episodes. Chicago Cubs Central Facebook group. Join that Facebook group. Listen, y'all, don't forget, March 2nd, we are giving away a free Chicago Cubs jersey. You want to make sure you tune in to that episode. That's the episode we're giving away the free Chicago Cubs jersey. You don't want to miss it. Um, Once again, y'all, like I said, I appreciate each and every last one of you guys that have helped us. We reached over 3,000 subscribers, a goal that's something that we were trying to reach here on the pod, something that a goal I set for myself, just to broaden the horizons of this podcast, as well as bring in guest hosts, bring in, people to come in and pod with me. Because believe it or not, it's not always easy to sit here in front of a camera and talk to you, just me and you. Even though we're family and I appreciate you for watching the episode, still, it's not always super easy. However, like I said, I appreciate it. I appreciate each and every last guest host that has come on this past winter. We are gearing up for baseball, y'all. And listen, there's going to be more giveaways, watch-alongs. There's going to be a bunch of different things we're doing. I might even try to do a meetup in Chicago. If there's a particular game, like I said, where hopefully some of us are going to the same game, would love to meet you guys in person. You can find your boy out there in the bleachers, because you already know that's the only place I'm sitting when I go to Wrigley, outside of sitting right behind home plate. I got to sit in those bleachers. I need to feel the electricity of the Chicago Cubs from the bleachers. Now, with that being said, y'all, I do have to talk to you about something. What's something that's super important to me? Something that's super important to you. The Chicago Cubs have so far this spring training not looked the greatest. They are 2-5 again in spring training. They have they play games pretty much every day. They lose some guys to the World Baseball Classic, obviously, but at the same time, they also are just pretty much kind of trying to find their way, trying to figure out how to work this team together. Craig Counsell has not thrown a consistent lineup together just yet, which is perfectly fine. That's okay. My only thought process behind all of this is the Chicago Cubs are trying pretty much to manufacture their way through this spring training. I don't feel like the guys are really taking it super serious. I just think they're using it as a way to kind of fine tune things. I'm not necessarily worried about the Chicago Cubs 2-5 record, but let me know in the comments if you care at all or you're worried about the Chicago Cubs 2-5 record. They play again today, like I said. So I mean, it's not anything that this lingering or anything like that. But a lot of these guys are trying to fine tune or work themselves into shape to either make the Cubs roster or potentially make it on another roster that may have a spot opening up for them. I'm looking at people like Michael Conforto when I say stuff like that. However, there is one person that will not start this season for the Chicago Cubs, but will, however, find his way onto the Chicago Cubs team. And our very own Bruce Levine was the first one to break this story and really talk about it. And it's something that, to me, I wanted to bring to you guys and get your thoughts on it. The Chicago Cubs apparently have a secret weapon in Jaxon Wiggins. Jaxon Wiggins is someone is a right-handed pitcher. He bats right, throws right. He's 6'6", 225. That's a big guy. Like I said, he was drafted in the MLB in 2023 in the second round, number 68 overall. Of course, he is a part of our Chicago Cubs organization. And he was ranked in the top 100 prospects entering 2026. He has an opportunity in 2026 to shed that prospect tagline title and earn himself a spot on the Chicago Cubs team. Now, again, Bruce Levine was the first one to point this out on 670 The Score, where he said that Jaxon Wiggins is somebody that you need to watch out for as far as a breakout star or breakout potential this year for the Chicago Cubs. He has a very, very high probability to play an important role for this team down the stretch when it comes to pitching. Listen, guys, I've talked about it ad nauseum with you. The Chicago Cubs will not ever have enough pitching. You got to have as much pitching as possible because you want to make sure that in case guys go down, guys get injuries, guys go through slumps, all these different things, that your bases are covered. And like I said, the Chicago Cubs are the favorite to win the Central Division this year based off of signing Alex Bregman, based off of, bringing back the people that they did for the bullpen, as well as predicting that PCA will take that next leap and Seiya Suzuki will be able to recreate what he did in 2025 for the Chicago Cubs. So when you look at that, you say to yourself, okay, the Chicago Cubs have all of these pieces. Then where does Jaxon Wiggins fit in? Well, I'll tell you this. This is where I believe Jaxon Wiggins will do. He will start the season in AAA. Jaxon Wiggins will then find his way onto the major league roster. Now, according to Bruce Levine, it will not be as a starting pitcher. It will more than likely be coming out of the bullpen as a piece for the Chicago Cubs. Remember, this guy is 6'6", 225, and this guy throws hard as hell. He is somebody that has amazing stats and an amazing pitch mix. His pitching arsenal and the advanced metrics behind it tell you that he has a fastball that ranges anywhere from 96 to 100 miles per hour. He has a slider that's mid 80s, a swing and miss pitch. He's developing his changeup. And he has, like I said, his profile is he's a power starter with high upside. So he has a 3-pitch mix that he brings to the table. And he is somebody that you definitely want to pay attention to when it comes to the Chicago Cubs this season. Now, again, his rate stats in 2025, his strikeout rate was around 11 per 9. He has a strong swing and miss profile. And again, his command is getting better post that last injury that he had. So he is somebody that you definitely want to pay attention to when it comes to the Chicago Cubs and this season. He is somebody that is going to be able to bring it for the Cubs. Now, again, this is the same person that was a 2025 future All-Star game selection. He's the Baseball America top 100 prospect in 2026. He is the Cubs' top pitching prospect since Cade Horton has been called up to the big leagues. Again, he is somebody that his ceiling is a front of rotation starter. His floor, he's a high leverage reliever. And again, he is expected to come to the majors in 2026 and begin to make an impact on the big major league club. He is expected to take that next step. So, in order for Jaxon Wiggins to be a guy for the Chicago Cubs in 2026, what do we need to see for him? Well, we need to see dominance on the AAA level, sort of similar to what Cade Horton did right before he got the call to come up last year. And then on top of that, you also want to see him make sure that he has command of his fastball. When he starts missing on that fastball and he gets into trouble with walks, then he is more prone to make mistakes. So you want to see him literally grow up right before our eyes as a pitcher, as somebody that can command that fastball, have command of the strike zone, not walk guys, and get outs. He has the swing and miss stuff to induce a lot of outs. And he is somebody that the Chicago Cubs have watched grow in their organization, and somebody that they're looking forward to come through for the team in this coming 2026 season. So Jaxon Wiggins transformed from a high-risk draft pick into one of the Cubs' fastest rising pitching prospects after posting elite strikeout numbers and a sub-222 ERA across multiple levels in 2025. So for him, he is somebody, like I said, that he almost, if you want to compare him versus Cade Horton and Ben Brown, he's somebody that I almost want to say is a mix between the two. Like like Ben, he has the strikeout stuff with the fastball. Like Cade, he also has that nasty changeup slider that he can then turn around and use to induce swing and miss. So again, this is somebody that you want to pay attention to in 2026. 2026. He is somebody that is going to come up big for the Chicago Cubs, as predicted by first Bruce Levine. But then also, I'm piggybacking off of that and telling you that even though he did not look great in his first outing of spring training, I still suspect that this kid is going to go to the Triple A. They're going to start the season in Triple A, and sure, he may struggle. He won't struggle in Triple A, but he will dominate Triple A and then be called up to the majors, come out the bullpen for the Chicago Cubs, and provide a spark for this team. He's somebody that you definitely want to keep your eyes on. Who's other guys that you're looking at or expecting to come through big for the Chicago Cubs in 2026? I'm looking at Jaxon Wiggins as that guy for the Chicago Cubs. I also know people like to talk about Jefferson Rojas. I know people like to talk about Kevin Alcantara. Those are two other pieces I may do spotlight episodes on, where I'm highlighting that these are players that you definitely want to look out for, because they are going to be somebody that may get called on for the Chicago Cubs this season. I know a lot of you have asked, can the Chicago Cubs depend on the kids, or should they let the kids play? I know the last episode I did with Rich, where we talked about the Chicago Cubs and their unwillingness to allow the kids to play. I do think there will come points at the season where Craig Counsell and Jed Hoyer will end up having to depend on some AAA talent getting the call up and being able to see what they can do this season. We just got to stay tuned for it. But that's my episode for today. I just wanted to quick come in, spotlight, drop this episode for you, let you guys know Jaxon Wiggins is the real deal. Do not pay attention to what you saw in spring training, in his first start in spring training, or his first time in spring training. Guys, I'm telling you guys, this guy is a refined young pitcher. Like I said, he finds that strike zone, and it's a wrap for the MLB. He is going to be dominant in this league. So, again, let me know your thoughts on Jaxon Wiggins. I know not a lot of you were impressed with what he did in with what he did in his first spring training action. However, I do believe he is somebody that is going to play a major role for the Chicago Cubs this coming season. And also list below other players on the Cubs that you believe will play a major role for the team this season, somebody that you wanted spotlighted on this podcast. Listen, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you're looking at Spotify or Apple, leave a 5-star rating and a review. Trust me, it helps get the podcast out in front of more people. Until next time, man, I appreciate you guys. Go Cubs, go.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.